With the addition to Tormented Demons and while guthix sleeps to old school RuneScape came the Bone Claws, which are dropped by Tormented Demons, which these have actually been renamed to Burning Claws now. Now these are pretty controversial. They're supposed to be a spec weapon that fills the gap between the DDS and the Dragon Claws within PVM, and from what I've seen of other content creators testing them in PvP, they don't seem to be that great for PvP use. In this video, we'll be looking at the comparison of the Bone Claws versus the Dragon Claws. Now, all these graphics right here are from the 2007 Scape Reddit community. This post is by ZCB Enthusiast. He did a really good job kind of showing all this information. So I'm just going to be kind of going over his graphics real quick and just breaking it down in a video format. So Bone Claws, how do they work? Basically, they're pretty much just like Dragon Claws, except you, instead of getting 4 hits and 4 accuracy rolls, you get 3 hits and 3 accuracy rolls. And then also, if any of your rolls hit, you get the chance to apply a burn, which does 10 damage total over the course of 24 seconds. And you get more of a percentage of a chance to apply that burn the more you hit with your burning claws. And as you can see right here, it shows your expected burn damage and everything. These claws are really good at about 50% accuracy, and then they stay pretty good up until 100%. Also, you need to keep in mind that these guys have a 30% spec cost, so you can get more specs in rather than the 50% cost that Dragon Claws have. So here's a nice little chart here. This is assuming how accuracy works and everything. So with DDS, it gets better and better and better, more accurate you are. You got your B claws with no burn, which are pretty much better than DDS. And then with the burn, the orange line, they get even better. And then right here you have Dragon Claws right above them, and ZCB is amazing all the way up. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that Dragon Claws is better in every situation. There are a lot of different factors that can decide which one is better. So going on, we're going to look at how good they are, what this means for you, and some examples of where they could be used. So next, in a med level setup, these Burning Claws are actually going to be right behind the Void Waker and the ZCB, and the same thing with the max setup. So not insane at next or anything, but now we're going to move on to Theater of Blood. So as you can see just from the chart right here, it is pretty much right there with Dragon Claws and almost right there with Dragon Claws in the second picture, which is nice because, I mean, these boys are much cheaper than Dragon Claws at the moment. So it basically goes on to say that Burning Claws are good on top on paper, but there are some mechanics that kind of mess this up. So when you go into Maiden, she has a thing where she can clear burns, which clears the damage over time of Burning Claws, and then you lose some damage on Bloat when he walks around, and then Zarpus can actually kill you during the Screech if the burn hits him. And then also Part 2 Verzik, when she summons the red crabs, if the burn is damaging it, it's going to heal Verzik. So those are some situations where it can be pretty bad. But he does go on to say they are theoretically close to Dragon Claws. They are really good in those last 24 seconds of killing Maiden. A little bit of more Tob to go over right here. Nilocus is immune to burn and will heal instead, so you can't use them there. And Verzik happens to be the room with the most potential for those Burning Claws other than the Crab phase. But however, Burning Claws are best in slot as long as you use them 24 seconds before completing the room, because you remember you need that whole 24 seconds to get that entire burn off. Looking at Tombstone Mascot, they're decent because of the stab accuracy, but as the invocations go up, the defense gets a lot higher and they start to not be as good. Also, Akka's last phase, you can't burn him because it's going to make him teleport over and over and over. But they could be decent compared to Dragon Claws. And we got one more to look over, looking at Desert Treasure 2. Apparently, Burning Claws are simply best in slot at Bardorvis, almost equal to the Void Waker, and basically being equal to the Void Waker if you're in medium gear. The only caveat he has is that you aren't able to use them in the last third of the fight without losing some of that burn damage. And then you would also probably think they're good at Duke, but he goes on to say you're probably just better in every situation, just dumping another BGS spec just because of how high his defense is. And when he goes for Slayer, I mean, most Slayer monsters you're going to be killing pretty fast, so you're not going to have time for that entire burn effect to go off. So with all of that being said, there is potential that Jagex might nerf these bad boys because they are very similar and can compete with claws and even be better in claws in some places. And the community is a little bit upset of how much easier these are to get as opposed to getting Dragon Claws from Chambers of Xeric. It is a much faster grind to get Burning Claws than Dragon Claws. There is also the other side that is simply saying that, well, I mean, in the original game, Dragon Claws did drop from Tormented Demons anyways, so what's the problem? Now, I personally do not care the outcome because my group Iron Man already has Dragon Claws from Chambers, and we just got our first Bone Claw for the Burning Claws. Now, I will say as a flipper though, looking at the Grand Exchange, Dragon Claws are at a 6-month low right now of 88 mil, and they were sitting around 98 to 100 mil, so they are going down in price. And I do see the valid point of, if Burning Claws stay best in slot in some locations, that the Dragon Claws could be devalued a lot. Some people are claiming this is an issue, but I'm not sure, as I mean, Iron Man, we're not really worried about value of items. I guess you could argue the rarity and how long it takes to grind it though, but either way, I'm not opposed to whatever Jagex decides to do with this change. I would not be surprised at all though if there was a nerf, since they did change Tormented Demons where they made their table a lot better, where that means more people are going to be farming them for money, and they made drop rate 17% better for Burning Claws. And so there's just going to be more in the game, as they proposed it being an in-between for the DDS and Dragon Claws. It seems to be just a little bit better than upgrade to a DDS. From the main account perspective, I do really like this comment right here that melee is missing a damage dealing spec that costs between 22k and 100 mil, since those are the prices of the DDS and the Dragon Claws. At least it used to be the price of the Dragon Claws. Whether they get nerfed or not though, I do highly recommend trying out Tormented Demons. I have a guide for it if you want to look into that and getting into killing them. They're very easy to kill and very fun to kill, as they only switch their prayers every 150 hit points rather than 50 like demonic gorillas. And you have the chance of getting a Tormented Synapse, which I got at 50 KC and has been life-changing for my Iron Man so far. I made the emberlight sword and it absolutely slaps at some of the bosses like Cerberus, and it's as good as a Soul Reaper axe at Duke. And you have the chance of getting the Burning Claws as well, and if they don't get nerfed, they're going to be really good for PVM. I'm so excited to keep killing these Tormented Demons. I'm going to probably get that bow next, and then hopefully we'll finish up making another pair of these Burning Claws. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your stance on the Burning Claws. Should they be nerfed? Are they good? What's going on, guys? Thanks for watching.